Hey there gamers! Today we are going to look at my Super-Cassette-Vision collection. For those of you who are not familiar with the Super-Cassette-Vision, this is what the graphics on it look like. By the way, this does have native RGB out, which is pretty darn cool. It was a neat little game system made back in 1984. It was the sequel to the Cassette-Vision, and it's quite a bit better than the original, although not amazingly better. They were kind of making steps, not leaps at that particular time. It was made by a company called Epoch, and it's a pretty fun little system. It's fairly inexpensive to collect from gaming standards. The console gets a little bit expensive, but once you have the console, most of the games are expensive, except for the really high-end ones. Those will cost you an arm and a leg. But anyway, I kind of felt you may or may not know what the system was like, and I thought this would be a good demo. One interesting thing about this is there's actually like a boss level on this game. So for this time period, you know, 1984-ish, this was a pretty decent, powerful console. Alright, let's look at the games I've got for it. Gamers, meet the Super-Cassette-Vision. By the way, I want to note that the intro was shot before I checked recent pricing on the Super-Cassette-Vision. It has gotten outrageous, so disregard what I said about it being a cheap collect. It isn't necessarily. I got mine for around $100 with the box. That said, my top deck was damaged, and my friend Tom printed me out a replacement deck for it. Thanks, Tom. You're a nice guy. Anywho, there is a nice space in here to hold your controllers, a lot like the Atari 5200. The keypad's up here so you keep the controllers nearby, so it doesn't matter that the cables are kind of short on the controllers. You're going to be right next to the Cassette-Vision anyway. Of course, the cartridges go up in the top. Let's take a look at the back of the device. You've got an AC adapter right here. RGB connector. This is not, even though it looks like it, a standard RGB connector. You can't use your Genesis connector just to hook it up to a composite out like you would hope, or a component out like you would hope. Unfortunately, they're specialized. I've got the specialized adapter. It's around $100. It's a SCART cable. I've not found any other form of that cable thus far. Channel selector, RF out. And of course on the bottom, there's some pots for tuning in your stations. Boy, I love when they do that. One really cool thing about the Cassette-Vision is if you start it with no game in it, it does this test display so you can tell whether it's working at all. That's really nice because it helps you debug whether a problem with the video is caused by the machine itself or a cartridge. I wish all systems did this. I do have the box, so here is the front of the box. Super-Cassette-Vision. It says right here, RGB. Isn't it weird how the Japanese like put English on some of their stuff? I've always thought that was really strange. I mean, we don't really do that very often here in the US. I mean, we put Spanish, but people here speak Spanish. Anyway, whatever. The right side of the box. The left side of the box. The top of the box. Copyright 1984 Epoch. The bottom of the box has some dry rot. Here is the back of the box, showing off that beautiful Astro Wars cartridge, which is #1. And that's a great game, by the way. That is like really, their first game was really, really good. That was the game I was showing you in the intro. RGB connector will set you back $1 billion. Let's go look at what games I've got for it. Alright, first game is Punch Boy. And Punch Boy's a neat little platformy type of game. And it is unfortunately without a box or manual, which means I'm probably going to replace this because I kind of want to have the full set of games in their boxes. There were about 30 releases for the Epoch Super-Cassette-Vision. I have about 9 of them, so I've got a long way to go. Some of the games are really expensive that I don't have, but I think it's within reach of actually getting a full set of these games since there's just not that many releases. Anyway, there is Punch Boy. Next, we have Astro Wars, which is a really nice little Galaga type clone, but it's not really a clone, it's more like Gorf. Just as a note, a lot of the games that are available for this were originally meant to be licensed games, and when they couldn't procure the licenses, they just released them with another name. So that's pretty interesting. I think it was an early victim of Nintendo's policy of getting exclusive licenses that really had a serious effect on this company's chances. Anyway, another neat thing about this system is, look at the way the box is open. And then the cartridge comes out like this. That is really neat, I think. It's too bad that they didn't store them like this though, so you could read the cartridge name on the front to make sure you had the right cartridge in there. But other than that, really nice design. Very classy. Here is Super Golf. That's right, most amazing golf game ever made. I think this came with the system, and that's the only reason why I have it. But it's not a terrible golf game. You know, it's about average. It's not anything super special as far as I'm concerned. It does have the manual, which is nice. Note that the cartridge color is different between different games. I think that's pretty cool, that not all the cartridges were the same. I know Nintendo had that occasionally, but these guys were constantly shaking things up. So, really neat feature. That is golf. Next, we have Super Mahjong, which I've never played, so I can't speak to its quality, but I don't like Mahjong games, so this, of course, was picked up in a load of other games. What is interesting is this one still has an overlay with it. I think that is pretty cool. Yes, there were overlays available for these. And of course I've got the manual, and it has kind of a boring black cartridge. But kind of neat nonetheless, if not only for that overlay. Next we have some Super Baseball. Not just any regular old baseball. Super Baseball, which is numbered 5. I always thought cartridge numbering was pretty smart from a marketing standpoint, because people like me that are kind of nuts about numbers being out of order will collect them just to have that full set. And that's still working today, because I'll probably still do that in this particular case. I hate having gaps in the collection that are obvious. Don't care if they're not obvious, but if there's a number missing, oh boy, I'm in trouble. Has the manual. And these are just little tiny things, and of course I can't read it, so it's not going to help me much. Let's go on. Meet Elevator Fight, which is a pretty fun game. Another one of those platformers. It's a little bit like Mappy. Believe it or not, Mappy was actually released for the system, so there's a real Mappy out there for it. But this is somewhat similar to it, or maybe an elevator action. Which I'm guessing is what it really was originally, and then converted into, well, this. Looking inside, there is a manual, and the cartridge is a lovely white color. Yeah, Elevator Fight. Nice. But a good game. Here we have Wheelie Racer, which is really cool. This is a neat little game. It's a bump and jump type of clone game, and it is well worth playing. And the price on it's not too bad. You can pick this up for less than 30 bucks. So if you're adding something to your collection that is different from the rest of what you're playing, because I'm pretty sure this is the only racing game on here, this would be a very good pickup. Oh, here, let me open it up, and there's the cartridge. Surprise, it's red. And here's one of the rarest games in my collection, Miner 2049er. Yes, an actual licensed game. Notice, from the USA. I'm trying to collect Miner 49er for every platform I have, so yeah, need to have this. And looking at the box, it's really nice. It's number 12. It has a gold color to the box with a blue top. This box is also in a little bit better condition than many of mine, and very nice. What would you call that? Is that a wine or burgundy? Burgundy? Very nice. Yes. Miner 2049er. Meet Kung Fu Road for the Super-Cassette-Vision. This is the last of my games and one of my latest pickups. What a nice looking box this thing has. They were really getting up there with their boxes towards the end. And there's some gameplay on the back. That's very nice of them to show that. Let's see what color the game is. Purple. Look at that. Barney the cartridge. There's Kung Fu Road. And that is the last of my games, folks. That's all I got. Let's go take a look at the whole collection for a second. There it is, my Super-Cassette-Vision collection. What do you think about this? Is it worth the fairly massive investment that you have to put into this game system? Do you have something like really rare and unusual? Let me know about it in the comments down below. I want to thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. Hey, zoom in on my thumb. Zoom in. Give me a blurry thumbs up and subscribe for more. And I'll see you in a couple days. Bye.